Months have passed since that night on the roof, when the sky opened, light carved a symbol into the clouds, and a shadow nodded at me before vanishing into the storm. That evening split my life in two. Before, Gotham was simply where I lived. After, Gotham became something else. It was no longer only bricks and bills. It was a stage, and we were all part of the performance. At first, the change was subtle. A hush in conversations, a glance too long at a dark alley. Hope. But Gotham's hope is nervous, a candle flame fighting a draft. Some whispered that the city had a guardian now. Others muttered that such a figure could only draw worse things out of the dark. Soft rain tapping on metal, distant thunder. They weren't wrong. Because Gotham noticed the light, and so did others. The first was a man who treated his own face like a coin, one half polished, the other ruined by fire. A former district attorney, now ruled by chance, carrying his verdict in metal. People say he lets fate decide who lives. Even the wind feels like it waits for his flip. Coin flipping, metallic ring. Then came another, shorter than his shadow, wrapped in fur collars and expensive coats. A crime lord, stocky, sharp-eyed, moving like a predator bird in human shape. His men carried umbrellas that hid more than rain. Deals near him smelled of fish and fear. His laugh echoed like money being counted in the dark. Low murmur of a bar, glass clinking. And then the one who left puzzles behind like breadcrumbs, a calculating mind, tidy script, a genius of riddles turned into traps. Green envelopes appeared where no one expected, on church steps, on podiums, even taped inside aquariums. His questions weren't questions, they were snares for the mind. Pen scratching, faint riddle whispered in the wind. I didn't need to know their names. Gotham already did. The city had grown new storms from the same clouds as the signal. And so the balance shifted. Families disappeared from my street. You could see the moving vans, boxes labeled kitchen, baby clothes, grandma's books. They weren't headed across town. They were fleeing to the gated suburbs, polite prisons, walls built not to keep people in, but to keep monsters out. Guardhouses mushroomed. Security newsletters dictated rules about paint colors and grass height. The children there were safe, but safety always came with the reminder of why the walls stood. Meanwhile, Gotham's center transformed. Glass towers sprouted like teeth, each promising jobs and ambition. Those who stayed were either trapped by poverty or pulled by opportunity. The streets grew hungrier, the sidewalks more frantic. At night, the towers glowed long after offices closed, ambition refusing to sleep. From my rooftop, the city felt split. To the west, suburbs wrapped in false calm. To the east, towers pulsing with neon ambition. In between, alleys and diners, pawn shops and tenements, the heart bleeding quietly in the rain. And through it all, he remained. The shadow I saw that night, a dark guardian, armored, cloaked with pale eyes that pierced through rain and silence. He still moved across rooftops, answering the signal when it burned, haunting the city when it didn't. People whispered about him everywhere, on buses, in bars, in the breaths between gossip and fear. Children played at being him. Criminals trembled at his name. Yet his presence didn't erase the darkness. It multiplied it, as though the night itself had found its perfect stage. I began to see signs even from my roof. One evening, a coin balanced neatly by the stairwell. Another night, a green envelope stuck to a lamppost, mocking and precise. And once, a water tower held her, a thief draped in black leather, feline grace, whip coiled at her hip, playful and dangerous. She perched against the skyline, glanced at the signal, then vanished into shadow like poetry that refuses to be recited aloud. Gotham had become a chessboard. The signal was the opening move, and now every piece was sliding into place.